EDRS Quick Reference Sheet 2004. Creating a new death case. Medical information. Physicians, certified registered nurse practitioners, and physician assistants can act as medical certifiers for death cases. To avoid duplication of cases, before you create a new case, you must perform a death start, edit new case search to determine if the case was already started by another person. Click the Death Start Edit New Case link on your homepage to search for existing cases that match the case on which you are working. The Death Locate Case search is only used to locate cases you have already started. Enter the required data and click the Search button. The required fields are first name, last name, date of death, and gender. If you cannot find any matching cases, click the Start New Case button. If you know the case was started by another person but cannot find it, ask them exactly how this data was entered and search again. For example, spelling of the names, date of death, etc. If you find a matching case, click the Preview link to confirm the information, then click on the decedent's name link to open the case. Click the Pronouncement link on the Medical Certification section of the Death Registration menu. On the Pronouncement screen, enter the required data, date, time of death, and modifier fields. To note, if the pronouncer and certifier are the same person, you must use the lookup search to locate and select the pronouncer. Manually entering data in these fields will generate an error during the certification process. Enter the pronouncement data if appropriate, because this is optional. Once the information is entered, click the Next button. On the Place of Death screen, the facility name and address will pre-populate based on your login credentials. Select the type, place of death, and click the Next button. On the Cause of Death screen, enter the required data in Part 1, including the immediate cause, due to or as a consequence of, and the approximate interval or onset to death. To note, if the interval is not known, enter the word unknown. Enter the required data in Part 2 for other significant conditions. Once this is done, click the Next button. On the Other Factors screen, enter the required data. To note, you can only select an answer to the pregnancy question when the decedent was a female between the ages of 10 and 65. Once the information is entered, click the Next button. On the certifier screen, enter the required data. It is important to note, if you are not the medical certifier, you must use the lookup search, locate, and select the certifier. Manually entering data in these fields will generate an error that prevents the certifier from certifying the case. If you are the medical certifier, your identifying information will pre-populate based on your login credentials. Also to note, do not enter a date in the Date Sign field. This field or information will automatically be generated when the case is certified. Click the Validate Page button to validate all the data that was entered. If any errors display, correct the error by selecting one of the Fix buttons and entering the correct information in the field. In this case, the tobacco question had an error. We will fix this error and validate the page.